drawing of half of the profile of a pushpin, and then we forced it to snap to the grid so it's nice and tidy. And then once we accomplished a revolve, we could do so knowing that we didn't have to worry about poking little tiny holes in our surface and sort of ruining the operation. So the first pushpin model that we have here is a solid. I can verify that by clicking on it and typing in what, and then you'll see down here near the bottom of that window, closed solid poly surface. So this is crucial, especially later when it comes to Boolean operations, which we'll talk about in a different segment. Boolean operations, for the most part, only work if things count as closed solids, and it's just a good working habit to try and get all your solids to resolve this way. Also, if you get interested in submitting models to Shapeways to have them 3D printed, those also need to be closed solids. So in the last video, we took this curve that I happen to know it's right about here. I might need to pick a different view in order to select it. And there we go, I get it on the list. So I want to expose that curve and then move it over here. You can move it over a specific number of inches, but I'm just going to kind of scoot it over and make some very small changes. Now, as we established, our first model exhibits double curvature, and we know that the main problem here is that I'm taking a curve and revolving it around another axis, so that causes it to curve in two directions. So to fix this, I'll type in explode, and then all I need to delete is this shape right here. I'll also take a close look, and because we've had snap turned on this whole time, you see how both of these endpoints are still in alignment with the grid. Now I just take the polyline tool instead of the curve tool, and I'll do my best to try and recreate the rough look of this shape. So I'm going to make it something like that. So if we compare the two visually, they have roughly the same visual impact, but when we revolve this particular item, after I join it, it's not going to create double curvature, it will only create single curvature. So just like last time, revolve. The start of the revolve axis is here at the tip of the pin. I have my O-snaps on to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. The end of the revolve axis is here. 0 for the start angle, 360 for the revolution angle, and I get another shape that's almost identical, but you can see in this case the benefit is that all of these pieces can be unrolled to create a paper model. And in fact, let me show you how that's done right here. If I type in the command unroll, I'll get unroll surface, SRF, and it's going to say select surface or poly surface to unroll. If I click here, I haven't exploded this form yet, so I should do that first. So exit to leave that command, explode, makes all of these surfaces individually available. Type in unroll surface, and then let's say I click this little guy right here. You can see that these things default down here to the top view, so a cone winds up with this kind of shape. We've also got some truncated cones in here, right? I can just hit enter to repeat the previous command, and those guys come out more like a big letter C. Some of the forms in here do not require unrolling. I'm going to temporarily delete these just for housekeeping. Say, for example, I get this flat piece. That can just be cut out of paper without any unrolling, but I do need to rotate it so that it faces the ground. So let's say we come in here from the right, we find that center point, and then rotate that guy so he's flat. So basically, if you were to take this approach, if the object is already totally flat, you just rotate it until it's parallel to the ground, and then drag it over there near 0. If the object is not yet unrolled, you click it after exploding all the surfaces and type in unroll SRF, and then those come out one by one as well. Okay, that's our first two push pins, so see the next video for the third.